I put this right here, and I'm just doing this so you can see. I've got a gap in the palm of the hand, so that needs to be filled in. He's got a pretty good gap here at the wrist. That all needs to be filled in. All right? I also want to check circulation, motor function, and sensation before I splint. So if it's a hand fracture, where do the ties need to go?
Higher from this.
At the fingers and probably at the wrist all the way up the forearm. Okay? If it's wrist, then I need to stabilize the hand and fingers and the forearm. Do I put the splint in place and then try to cram stuff into place? Or can I just take a look and get a look at what I need and then come back and take the materials I need? Hopefully you're going, why did she need 4 of those?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing I need about that many in the palm of the hand. Come back in. No, drop. That looks about right now. Can I check radial pulse? Why not? Because they told you it was a wrist fracture. You don't want to come in and start feeling and palpating on that area. So I'm going to have to rely on sensation. Could you feel that? And could you feel that? Okay.
What about the
Hmm? I wasn't doing pulse. I was just doing capillary refill. So I blanched the collar out and let it see what it looks like on return. All right. And then sensation. So I'm not checking a pulse, but circulation means I can check pulse or capillary refill. Okay. Scoot up just a hair. Oh, you're going to knock the boards over on yourself. Would you hold this for me? Okay. All right. Use the palm of your hand right there, nice and steady. Do I want to use triangular bandages to tie this or a roller bandage?
Whatever you have.
Whatever I have. So which would you like me to use?
You got it.
Triangular.
She's saying, let's do a roller bandage.
She doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. She just gives you the scenario.
I'm going to come down. I'm going to unroll it just a little bit. And I'm going to come between his thumb and the board. I'm going to come around one or two times. And this time when I come around, I'm going to cover his thumb up. So I've secured the hand a little bit. And then I don't need a new roller bandage. I just need to take my twists. We didn't really talk about that in lab last week, but I can make a roller bandage fit anything by twisting it to make it fit. Then we'll have you slide your hand up on the board. Okay, you went the wrong way, but that's all right. But you're fine. The faster you do this, the more motion you cause, the more he's going to want to kick you in the teeth. Why not go right across the top of the fracture point?
You want to put pressure on it?
Because the pressure will make it hurt and it'll move the bone ends. I'm actually going to come in here and tuck it. I tucked it so it's pretty secure. Am I done?
Check capillary refill.
All right, if I come back and check CMS, am I done? What bones need to be stabilized with a wrist fracture? Hand and fingers and radius ulna. Have I stabilized the radius ulna? I have not, because he can still get movement, he can still rotate his arm. So how am I going to stabilize that? I'm going to come in. Actually, I only need 2 of these right now. I'm going to put a sling on him. Remember in class I said all upper extremity fractures get a sling? So long side, short side. Tie a knot in the short end of the triangular bandage so I can create a pocket for his elbow. When I try to put a sling on, I always want the long side of the sling at the midline of the body and the knot on the same side as the injury. So I'm over here. Now I can bring his arm up. Bring the sling up. Now, I've got a little bit of gap right through here, so I'm going to get rid of that gap by twisting the sling, taking up the excess gap. Same thing here. Take up the excess gap. Would one of you hand me a 4x4? Please? 1 or 2. Thank you. Actually, I'm not going to put that there yet. I'm going to do my loop first. And I'm going to pad the knot, snug this up. Am I done?
No.
Have I stabilized the radius ulna?
Yes.
Have I?
Sort of.
Sure. Positive, this is the only side participating. Positive? I needed 2. He can still raise his arm. He can still rotate his arm. Do not test that on your patient. Look at your patient and in your mind's eye, put yourself in that position, go, okay, I can still flex my arm, I can still rotate my arm, I can still swing my arm out, so the radius ulna is not stabilized at this point. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to create the swath that I talked about in class. Take a triangular bandage, open it all the way up, and this time I want the long side at the bottom. Now your textbook shows making them about 2 to 3 inches wide and putting one on. I just find that if I make it a little bit wider than that, I want you to take this hand and put it on top of your head. There you go, just your hand, not your thumb. Make this good and wide here, cover as much of the humerus as I can. I've got the hand covered, but I've covered the board so the pressure is going to be on the board and is not going to make the arm move. You can put your hand down. And I'm going to come in here. I would use another 4x4 and put it in here to pad it. I'm going to snug this up. I'm going to say take a big breath. Exhale slowly. And tighten it up. I'm going to come in here. I can check distal circulation. Can you feel this? Can you feel this? Can you wiggle your fingers? I'm done. Now I've secured a wrist fracture.